Oh my God. Oh, LinkedIn's still not working, I think. Getting a bunch of weird setting errors. Encoder has to be 2. What is it talking about? Okay, is LinkedIn active or not? I need to check this. Wait, it is active? Oh, okay. Sorry, it was lying to me, and I got a bunch of errors that popped up. Okay, so okay, can you guys send me some messages? Firstly, because I want to make sure this is working. So last time, if you happen to hit the last live stream, by the way, am I sending over my audio? Please make sure you could tell me if you can actually hear me, because I actually don't even see where my settings for audio are in this app. Um, Settings. Uh huh. Uh huh. Where is just. Okay, this is silly. What? No, I don't need this analytics stuff. I just want to see. Oh my god. Um, Appearance. Okay. Stream settings. There we go. No, there's nothing to do with audio. So I guess I'm getting my audio from my software. Okay, that means you can hear me, I'm pretty sure. And now I can see the messages if I go to LinkedIn, but I can't actually see them pop up here where I'm supposed to be able to see them. So maybe it's just really delayed. I'm not sure. Um, okay. Why right now I'll be able to respond to LinkedIn messages. I believe YouTube comments. I Let me see how I can pull those up. I can probably go to the YouTube website. Sorry for this, guys. I'm doing this for the first time. Um, okay. Yes. Okay. This is ridiculously silly, but with a convoluted setup, I'm now as watching. That's actually me watching myself, though. That's so weird. I have to download it too. Am I gay? Please don't. Okay, I have to. Yeah, I have to ban you for asking odd questions. Um, okay, you deleted that comment. Good. Um, okay, so hi everybody. So basically, is chat working? Yes. Hi Greg. Hi bro. How's it going? Life is going good. Thank you. Hi Greg from Vietnam. Hello Vietnam. um, God bless me. Thank you. I Hello, Greg. Where are you from? I am from Waterloo in Ontario, in the country of Canada, the lovely, lovely country. Why am I having trouble saying lovely? Okay. Sorry, this is super awkward for me because I'm looking at like literally 3 different screens. My phone has my LinkedIn, my one laptop screen has, or my one computer screen has the YouTube stuff, and then the third one has my actual software for doing this. I think it's all working though. Okay, so I helped you on your data science journey. I am so happy to hear that. That is my goal, one of my goals every day. Okay, so this is your chance to ask some pointed questions. Either just it could be just simple like motivation or simple questions, but this is a big chance for you to just go and ask anything that you're worried about, anything you're curious about, really anything that you want to know. Um, yeah. So now's your time. I'm gonna go to LinkedIn. So hello, how to start the data science journey. I'm not sure what showed up in my LinkedIn bio. Now, apparently, it automatically put in a powered by the site I'm using. That makes sense. Free advertisement for them. Um, I do have the courses linked in the LinkedIn description as well as the YouTube description, which gives a lot of the material that I would suggest. I'm not sure if you can access all of it. I might have actually cut off some of it. Um, but basically, okay, so there's getting some thumbs up on that starting question as well. So how I would start is personally, I always recommend the IBM Data Science certificate from Coursera as a starting point. I believe that one, yeah, that one did make the description, so you should be able to see that one, or just search it into Google. And then you really want to learn machine learning and deep learning as soon as you possibly can. And so to do that, I would learn, or I would do the Andrewing or deep learning.ai based stuff. Okay, so back to YouTube. Is math necessary for data science? Personally, I would say yes. You're going to get different answers, and it's not really a true, like it's not really a question you can just answer with certainty. But to be honest, I would say yes. It is a truth that the like the algorithms behind most data science and machine learning stuff does involve mathematics. I was actually editing the courses from my school that I show on my LinkedIn today, and I basically got a flashback of everything that that did help me towards this journey, and the stuff that really does help is linear algebra. You don't have to get too advanced. Like I've actually taken, I guess, two strictly just straight up linear algebra courses, and both of them help. But I'd say the first one, which is just learning about vectors and matrices, is very, very helpful. Just quickly, no, I don't have any deep reinforcement learning videos, although it's something that within the next few years horizon is something that's on the plan, but probably won't make the cut this year, unfortunately. It might, I don't know. Something I'm very passionate about. But sorry, back to that previous question. So linear algebra, very helpful. A bit of calculus, again, not super in depth. As long as you can get to multiple variables, which technically is generally a third course in calculus, it generally goes single variable differentials, or what's the word? Derivatives. So first course is generally about derivatives. Second course is about the other way, so single variable but with integrals. And the third course is generally kind of both of those things through multiple variables, which has, as soon as you do multiple variables, it almost certainly incorporates linear algebra. And so they're basically mixed and sort of kind of the same thing at that point. But they both look at different pieces of the math. So I would definitely recommend, if you can, like if you want to learn that stuff, then I would. And of course, like probability and statistics courses will take you a long way as well. But I don't think any of that stuff is super, super, super necessary, aside from the real basics, like basic linear algebra, basic calculus, even basic statistics as well. Okay, looks like there's a couple more from YouTube, so I'm going to stick with that. Sorry if it's Marlon or Marlon. Hi, what recommendation do you give if I want to apply to a job in data science from another country like Costa Rica? Cool. I believe this is the first comment I've seen, at least that's told me, from Costa Rica. So same thing. So I like how you said like from another country like this other country, because yeah, it applies to really most of them. So recommendation is definitely, if you can, get a solid like education. Honestly, I don't talk about it enough, but getting a solid education, like still a traditional education, if you're going for just like a straight up data science, machine learning type role, employers generally prefer that you have an education, especially if you're, I'm going to say overseas. Of course, overseas is a perspective thing. But most people most people ask about the United States, a little bit about Canada, maybe a little bit about some other pieces here and there. But basically, if you want to get a job in, say, the United States, they, of course, really like traditional education. You can agree or disagree with it. It's just a fact. And so I would recommend, if you can. But of course, not everybody has the luxury of getting a traditional education. There is kind of similar stuff that you might be applicable for. Like, I actually am not super duper familiar, but there is, like, if you go on Coursera, there is like, you can get a degree from like Harvard or whatever, these online, and not just Coursera, of course, but more and more universities are doing these online-based things, which may be an option for you. I'm not sure. So that's for overseas. I would definitely recommend something like that. And all of the stuff that I just said, those mathematics is helpful. And then people make a huge deal about projects, like projects. Of course, like yes, projects, but you have to be like a person that's doing things because firstly because you like them, and secondly because you're actually striving towards some particular goal, or it shows that you're interested in something in particular. Because a lot of people ask like, what is the best project to put on my resume, and I'm like, I have no idea. What are you interested in? I could say generic things like using modern neural networks to do cool things is often interesting right now, especially if you can get really modern, like general generative adversarial networks, anything to do with like transformers, which I have to start making videos on. Convolutional nets, LSTM nets is still, anything to do with that, especially if you can make it interesting, and it doesn't have to be like completely brand new, but as long as you kind of take a bit of a different angle on things, whether you make a better website than somebody else, whether you make a better model than somebody else, whether it just kind of combines all of those things, that's probably, I can't say enough, because you really have to get yourself out there, and do a lot of work. Like you have to work, a lot. um, but yeah, that's some general advice that I would have. Be sure to follow up with any questions. I'm gonna skip over to LinkedIn now, as I think I've ignored that a little bit. Oh, yes, I've ignored that a lot. um, should these maths be taken before the IBM data science? So I guess what I often neglect to say about my recommended path, um, is honestly that, oh, I see why I'm in the wrong page for my YouTube thing. Um, so what I often neglect to say is that I recommend starting with the IBM, and then luckily the machine learning course by Andrew Ng, which I always recommend after that. He does go over the prerequisite mathematics, like he's going to tell you what a matrix is, and how to do basic linear algebra stuff, and then he's going to talk about gradient descent, which is a calculus concept. Andrew Ng goes over all that stuff in the machine learning course, which is great. But if you want, there's a previous step in there, which is you start with, so yes, start with IBM. I think IBM is great for if like, I'm sure you don't know literally nothing, but if you did know next to nothing in the field whatsoever, IBM's a great starting point. And then after that, you want to push to machine learning. And there is a course by Imperial College London, which specifically is designed at, it doesn't have any prerequisites, but you take that and it's going to tell you and give you the information on the mathematics to learn machine learning. And so you might end up learning it twice if you aren't careful about skipping over things, and that's totally fine. But it'll give you the mathematics to learn machine learning. Then you can take the Andrew Ng machine learning course, and it'll be a lot easier because you'll already know the math. And then you can do the deep learning stuff, which is where it really gets, what I just said about projects, that's where I think it really gets useful. Okay, yeah, definitely still not on the right page for YouTube here. Now I'm not even getting any YouTube comments where I am. I'll at least go back to where I was. Yeah, this app that I'm using, it clearly doesn't do chat, even though there's a chat option, because I'm getting nothing. I'm getting literally no messages from it. Okay, whatever. Okay, I think it's still working. I just paused something, but let me know. Oh, I did. Yeah, I'm just gonna press the play button. I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry about this. Okay, so for data science journey, should we go for any courses such as Google Data Analyst? Sure. I'm not a big R fan, and that's why I go with the IBM Data Science over the Google, but the Google is a great course. Should we prepare separately for stats, maths? Yeah, I mean, you can learn the math at any point. You really need to start learning the math when you got, who got placed in Uber. Good job. Proud of you for that. Okay, so yeah, I always get, it's easy for me to get sidetracked looking at a million different things here. You can prepare for the math whenever you feel like you need to do the math, honestly. If you ever hit a roadblock where you're like, I really want to learn this, or someone like me told me I need to learn this, um, you know, that's when you would learn it. But what I would recommend is that machine learning, from most points of view, you need to know mathematics. And so I would learn it either before the IBM data science or directly after. Okay, can I please recommend good courses for deep learning, NLP, and computer vision? Check pretty much any of my YouTube videos. If you go to just it should be. I know you're from the LinkedIn side right now, and I am not sure how much information you can see in my like post or whatever is created. But in pretty much any of my YouTube videos, so go there. And even if you just go to the live Q&A that from the YouTube side, you will see many different courses that I have on all of those things. So to learn deep learning, you need to know basic analytics. So I have that section. For programming, I have that section as well. And then machine learning, I have that. Then at the very end, I have this section on basically extra courses. And one of them is computer vision, and one of them is natural language processing. So that's one approach. Of course, you can do many different approaches, but that's one pathway for you. Hello from Argentina. How's it going, Argentina? No, Alejandro, love it. How long does it take to become a data scientist? I can't answer those questions. I really cannot. It takes so long to just, yeah, it takes a really long time to, not, sorry, it doesn't necessarily take a really long time to become a data scientist. It just, it might take a long time, or it might be quick. I honestly don't know. It's not just about how many hours you can pump in each day, although that definitely helps. Working, a lot and smart is generally a good thing. By the way, if anyone is curious and thinks that I'm some sort of genius, I did an IQ test yesterday, and I am ever so slightly above the average. I saw a normal distribution, and I think my IQ is estimated at 108, which is extremely average. So just want to let you know, there's no sort of crazy intelligence. It really is just grinding and working hard. Hello, hello from Indonesia. Hello. Okay, back to YouTube. I think I got through the LinkedIn stuff. Okay, where am I? Yes, I saw the Uber. Good job there. Hi, what recommendation? Yes, I saw that. There we go. Okay, Hamza. Hello, can you please make some tutorials about a BERT model and how we can compare it to LSTMs? Yeah, I'm not sure when this comment was written, but I did say I was going to make some videos on transformers in the next couple months, so I would expect something like that. I have been doing just like an update for what I've been doing. I do plan on updating most of my tutorials before I do more complicated stuff, because over time, over the past year or so, I got a lot better at understanding like the speed. So I need to really slow things down, focus on editing and re-recording to make things as clear as possible. So I do plan on, and also even just simple things like zooming in. I think I got a lot better at understanding what the audience wants to see. And so I do plan on re-recording and updating a bunch of my tutorials first, but after that, I would love to. Am I using Jupyter Notebook in my job? If not, which tool am I using? Right now, I do not have a job. I'm about to finish up university, and I'm always open to looking for jobs for sure, but right now, it's not really something I'm worrying about too much. You're very welcome. Okay. Hi, I'm doing a bachelor thesis right now. Bachelor thesis. I didn't know you had to write a thesis for bachelor's. For what? That has to do with time series forecasting, but I have the problem that the timestamps in the data are at irregular intervals. Do I know any solutions? Timestamps in the data are at irregular intervals. I mean, there's so optionally you can do nothing, and it still means something to to have irregular intervals. Like it still means the previous data point or the next data point. If it is important, which it often is, to have them at the same intervals, then yeah, there is some ways to like adjust that. Um, and I would look at some of the more complicated time series libraries out there. I'm not a complete expert on it, but yeah, you can kind of do some shifting thing and possibly interpolation to get more data points. What is the powerful? What is the powerful of Python regarding data science? Oh, sorry, Jeff. Do I have any ideas for a portfolio project? Um, as I kind of said earlier, I don't really know what constitutes, like, it's just not, it's not that I don't know. Everyone has a different portfolio project in mind, and there's so many different things you can do and so many things you should do. Um, so I can't recommend just one project, but try to think big, like, and not necessarily big in terms of like solving some like $1 billion problem, although that's great. Um, yeah, more so big and like just put a lot of work into it. Make a nice website. Make it nice and approachable. Make a really good model that does something useful. Um, th- th- those are the That's the best thing you could do. And I can't just advise one way, one exact model to do, or one project. Um, Python, just to summarize, Python is it has all the data science libraries. It's fast enough. Most of the Python stuff is written in C, and a lot of it is supporting parallel programming. Like stuff like NumPy is really fast because it's all vectorized, and that's in general why we use data Python. Also because it's just really easy, and the syntax is generally regarded as very friendly. Some people might not like how it's indented, and maybe people would like a very basically Python, but just you would use like curly brackets instead of the indentation. But personally, I really like that it's just spaced over most of the time. If you write really big like classes and functions, it gets kind of confusing. But for the most part, I think the language is very pretty, and that's usually pretty much the reason for it. Sir, I'm a fresher. Can you please suggest me one big project out of my resume? Luckily, you definitely heard, if you're still here, that I really can't do that. I can't recommend one big project to put on your resume. Do explore my YouTube channel and my playlist of projects if you're looking for ideas and how you can start to incorporate that. But just look around, think about things you're passionate about. Really, the best things will definitely come from what you want to do. Like all of my best projects are always when it involves Pokemon, because like I'm just so obsessed with Pokemon in particular and other video games from Nintendo. So when I do a project on that, it is just a million times better because I actually want to do it. So I recommend you to do that same thing. And luckily with data science, like you really can just pick anything. Like it doesn't matter what topic it is. It's gonna work. I'm gonna try and play music out my headphones. Is that gonna work? Yes, it is. Okay. I need to make sure that's not casting to you. Otherwise, I'm gonna get YouTube or LinkedIn's gonna get mad at me. Okay. As a beginner, who much deep concepts should how much deep concepts should be? I'm gonna have to get a rephrasing of that question. I cannot seem to parse that. Sorry. I've been working with R like for 6 years. I am learning Python. Do I think I can still apply to a data science job? Uh, yeah, lots of people use R. I mean, the people that know me well, and you're probably asking because I'm not overly friendly towards the R programming language by any means, but that doesn't mean that it's bad. I just like Python better, and I'm very experienced with both. Like I've taken like 10 stats courses where they use R, and I've taken like 5 programming courses in Python, and also done a bunch of work in Python because I really prefer it. But I see jobs, in R as well. I was looking at Apple jobs the other day. and some of their time series forecasting based jobs were described as R programming positions. And in particular, it's R is actually pretty good for time series forecasting stuff compared to, I wouldn't say it's better than Python because there's a library for everything, often a very well known one. Um, okay, why am I see what's happening now. Okay. But yeah, no, you can definitely start applying. Like if you've done R for 5 years, whatever it was. Sorry, I lost that. I seem to have lost that message. Um, hey Arshia, how's it going? Um, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Yeah, if you've if you, oh, there we go. I found the message. If you've been working with R for like 6 years, R is literally a language for statistics, data science, machine learning, you name it. Um, and so if someone says they've been doing Python for 10 years and you want to apply to data science, well, I don't know. Have you been doing data science? But if you're using R, that's what it's for. So yes, you're I'm sure you know what you're doing. Can you help me to implement Yen's algorithm? I have no idea what Yen's algorithm is. What is Yen's algorithm? There's so many algorithms. Yen's algorithm is a single source k shortest loopless path for a graph with non-negative edge cost. Of course it is. Uh, yeah, not offhand. No, I couldn't exactly dream up a solution of that. Some people could. I'm not one of those people. Sorry. Um, what tech companies are good for data science in your opinion? Any of the big ones are using data science heavily. They would just be, and I mean, if they're not, they're just fools. But they definitely are. Any of the companies of like say a slightly lower tier or any sort of medium to big-ish company in the US or often the US, um, they're all great for data science. If you really wanted me to pick one, uh, I mean, I'm really impressed with what Microsoft has been doing recently, not necessarily with just analytics, but they've been doing I mean, I was just talking about Pokemon. Microsoft has been doing a ton, like spending billions of dollars on gaming, and they are really poised to do some fascinating things over the next decade or two. A lot more like, of course, like companies like Amazon are too, um, but you know, I see Microsoft like doing so like buying so many different things, and so I'm really interested in what they're going to do. After completing machine learning by entering, the next step should be the deep learning specialization. If you don't know what the one I'm referring to is, you are from the YouTube side, so just check the description and you can click that link. Otherwise, if you do know what I'm referring to, then yeah, it's the deep learning specialization on Coursera. Can you give me recommendations about my final project in college? Not really. Can you tell me practice in Python? I don't know what that means. Don't feel bad about the IQ test. It does not mean anything. Well, it doesn't mean much. I understand why you're saying that, and it's definitely something people say, like an IQ test doesn't mean much. It does mean something. Like it tests something. I'm not I'm not the person to ask for it. Um, and I mean I was above the average. Like I think the average is 100, and what is it is, right? What is an average IQ? Average IQ is between 85 and 115. Yeah, okay. Well, I got 108 apparently. Um, so I mean, it's looks like a little bit above the average. So I don't feel bad about that. uh, but at the same time, yes. If anyone here got talked into doing an IQ test because I started talking about it, yeah, I would say pretty much the same thing. Doesn't mean very much. Anyway, it definitely doesn't mean that you're not capable of doing great things. You're very welcome. I'm not good at programming. Should I continue learning data science? I mean, if you don't like programming, that's an issue. like if you hate it, then you should definitely quit data science because it's about programming. And if you don't plan on, like if you don't ever plan on liking it, then yeah, I wouldn't waste your time on it. But a lot of things, it's tricky because you know who likes doing things that they like are so bad at. And I'm not necessarily like I'm definitely not insulting you here. Lots of people are bad at many different things. I'm bad at pretty much everything other than the things here that I'm focused on. Um, and so if I were to do them right now, I'd probably hate it because I would be stuck in like understanding terminology or understanding, the setup. Like if I was told to use some new like, you know, I was about to pick something a little too familiar. Um, Something new in programming, for example, that I have very, very little clue about. Some new concept, I would not like it at first because it would be so confusing. You're just stuck in these loops, especially if you just start programming in particular and start on your programming journey. It just sucks at first because you have no idea what you're doing. Um, and so sometimes you do have to power through those things and fight through, days or weeks or months of just annoyance. And then you get to the point where it's like, oh, no, I do like what I'm doing because I'm actually able to do things. Like you're not just caught in the initial trap. So it's tricky. I never advise like doing something that you don't like. Uh, I always advise doing things that you do like, but sometimes to get to the place where you actually will like something, you have to fight through disliking it a bit at first too. So it's really about where you see yourself. Like if you think into the future, about where you want to be, or where, and that's allowed to change, but where you think you might want to be, um, then yeah, the answer really comes from that on what you should do. And if you spend years on something and you're still bad at it, you still don't like it, then please like switch it up. Okay. Anyone who, yeah, your name is Dextra, which I do know the algorithm for that. Help me with. Okay. Um, Dextra, I told you I don't know Yen's algorithm. I'm not helping you with Yen's algorithm. I don't know what it is. I just had to Google it. It's not happening. People don't know everything. Like it's that's why I brought up the IQ thing. Like if people think that I'm someone that just knows everything, like I can implement Yen's algorithm in every programming language. No, it would take me a lot of time to understand the algorithm generically, and then to implement it in a programming language would be a day or two activity. I'm not sure how long or complicated it is, but no. How do people apply machine learning on social media and marketing? Um, I really wonder about that. So basically, I do it. I do it in my head every single day. Uh, wow, it's. Let me know if you can hear the wind because where I am right now, there's apparently 90 kilometer per hour winds, and I can see the trees just flying away there. um, not literally flying away. That would be bad. Moving a lot. Okay, so what was I saying? How do people apply machine learning on social media and marketing? So basically, so this fits very well to a machine learning type problem because social media is generally about hitting big groups of people. It is occasionally about how to hit small amounts of people, um, but usually, and that's what of course what I'm focusing on, and what anyone is trying to do is to scale their operation and get it to the masses. Of course, I love talking to to personal people, like to not personal people, to anyone here. I love responding to individual comments, but pretty much everyone would be lying if they didn't want to hit a big group of people. And to do that, well, you have to understand analytics, which doesn't necessarily have to be you literally apply some sort of a logistic regression model or some sort of a linear, linear regression or whatever it is. Those are I picked those two algorithms because they're relatively interpretable, and that means you can kind of diagnose and understand the relationship between x and y, as opposed to just being good at predicting y from x. Those are two different things. Um, and so you want that for social media. You want your models to be interpretable because you're trying to figure out what it is that you're doing is leading to such results. And so, I maybe a couple of months ago I thought about doing this, but for now, for a year now, I've been doing it in my head, which is like if I make this post here and it has this analytics, I'm diagnosing every single thing about why that happened. What was the title? What was the thumbnail? What was the description? Did I talk about something early on? Did I end with something? all those different pieces, that is social media and marketing from a machine learning and analytics point of view, trying to diagnose what you're doing to hit those markets. Now, if you are in a company, that means that you probably are already hitting, unless you're a brand new startup, just with a good idea and a hunch. You probably are already hitting a relatively large scale group of people, and there are particular algorithms you can do to try and figure out what's going on. Something simple like even just customer segmentation. You can get some variables on people. You can do some sort of a clustering analysis where you group people. You basically put people, or you plot each of the people, and then you try to assign each of them to a group, a cluster, or a segment, a customer segment. And you would approach those people differently because if they're in a group, that means they have some behavior or attribute, either something they do or something they are, that is different from the other groups. And so you can use particular strategies to try and hit those groups of people. So those are the basic ideas. Of course, I didn't just say something like you should make a random forest model that classifies this variable or whatever. There may be times that you want to do something like that, but in general, those are the approaches you might want to take and the questions you want to be asking to figure out in particular the models, if any, that you do want to make. But I would say a lot of the time it more so lends just to analytics and analysis and understanding what's going on than a hardcore machine learning model that is, taking in a lot of data and doing something with it. So that's my perspective on that. Where would I begin? Path, SQL or Python? You can learn. It really doesn't matter. Python and SQL are relatively independent, with the exception that you can optionally do SQL within Python. So I mean, one thing you could do is learn Python and then learn SQL by doing it in Python. But honestly, it doesn't really matter too much. Okay, hello. Should you learn ML ops as a data scientist? Honestly, yeah, I think I started adding that into my description. I did, yeah. Under my description, the YouTube description, it has best or of the video or the live stream right now. It has best courses for machine learning, and one of them that I would do, I have it at the end there, is ML ops. So yes, I would probably recommend that. I was thinking about maybe making a longer video where I explain more of these things. I just made a minute-long video where I tried to touch upon the important pieces. But honestly, yeah, for now, I would definitely just take that course. It's people gave it very good recommendations. Although I actually haven't done it myself, I just I've looked into it and I'm pretty sure I would recommend it. Okay. How much machine learning is really needed for data science positions that are not research heavy but focus on the business part? Yeah, it's a very, very good question. It honestly depends on the job, and it depends if they want to call it data science or not. Like data science is doing anything with data. That might mean just analytics, but I usually like to be a data scientist. I generally say you should learn machine learning. There's a bunch of jobs that do need it. There's a bunch that don't. You're better off just learning it and getting as modern as you can, because then you're more fit for the easier jobs, and you are, you're actually suitable for the more complicated jobs. I have a meeting in 2 minutes, but I asked my question, see the answer later. Okay. Oh, I see it at the bottom. Okay. Hello. Where do I even start from? What skills do I learn while taking my bachelor's in data science? In the description of this live stream, I have all the things that you might want to learn about. In my experience, when you do a presentation for your results, did you use remarks.js or other cool tools, or just used PowerPoint? I mean, I don't even know JavaScript, so I definitely didn't use remarks.js. But when I do often you just have to do PowerPoints because in companies that's what they demand for whatever reason. Often adhering to some particular, some particular requirement there, like template. But you can display your results in a variety of ways, and what I often do is prepare graphs through like a Jupyter notebook. I take pictures of them and then incorporate that into the slides. And I do actually put probably a lot more effort than most people do into making a presentation clear and easy to follow, because communication is really important to me. And I know I do. I purposely talk a little bit fast in these live streams because I'm trying to hit everyone's points all at once. But I do really care about communicating clearly as possible. Heard something weird. Um, and so yeah, PowerPoints are often fine if you make them properly, and yeah, include visuals. Probably not code. You probably don't want any sort of code in a presentation. Maybe formulas and visuals and small bullet points is really the way to go. Make a video on it. It's interesting. And Kate, Dextra, you need to care about something other than Yen's algorithm. I appreciate it. I if you're just gonna keep saying the same thing like 4 or 5 times about one algorithm, I I don't. I'm probably not gonna do it. At least not right now. So thank you. Um, okay, so I know this person left, but here in case I'll just say your name so you can look for it. Payman or Payman. Could I please make another video about LSTM stock price forecasting and talk about different approaches, for example, how this person did it or Jason Brownlee explained it in his book? I not right now. Uh, I've already made a few, like 3 LSTM videos. I probably am not going to make another one right now. Sorry about that. I'm currently a data science degree. It's your first year. Any tips to become more better and good revision tips? Yeah, I mean it's first year. Like it's take it easy. Don't worry about it too much. Try to get your grades up. There's really nothing I can say here like learn SQL, learn Python for you, whatever. Like it's you're doing great, and don't worry about it too much. Is my best advice. Not very useful advice for sure. um, you'll be all right. Don't worry. Okay. I feel like I totally forgot I even had a LinkedIn. um, I forgot I had a LinkedIn. No, I knew I had a LinkedIn. Forgot about the comments here. You're welcome. Hey, Greg, how much ML would I need for data science position? Oh, okay, right. Okay, you asked that question in both places. I answered it on YouTube. Sir, is advanced coding necessary for data scientist? Yes, to get any big tech jobs, you need to know the algorithms. For medium level jobs, it's thanks, Greg. Better than nothing. Yeah, fair point. Yeah, sorry, you were listening to that. Yeah, I mean, no, I sorry, I realized that advice was close to nothing. I don't have any huge tips. Other than honestly, like if it's your first year, then you know, don't be watching me on a live stream. As much as I don't want to say that for myself, go out, have fun, and make sure that you're, um, studying hard. Of course, it'll be great. I am a great guy, but I make a complex one. I make com. I'm a complex man. Not sure if I understand that. Um, okay, so is advanced coding necessary for data scientists? Yes, it is. Um, uh, Even stuff like object-oriented programming, like design principles that only software people learn, it will actually take you a long way, and many employers would greatly benefit from being very good at writing generic software, like RESTful APIs, even like web design doesn't hurt, like the back end and front end, having a decent understanding there, all that stuff. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. I've been doing some data analysis work using Power BI. Tableau often knocks doors of my interest, but I don't know whether Tableau is better than Power BI. I don't know if it's better. Like, yeah, it's hard to describe whether something's better or not. They're both two different tools, and they do similar things. Tableau's a little bit more for visualization. Although Power BI obviously does that too. Um, I don't know. It's not that learning Tableau is going to suddenly. I mean, it might. Um, but most likely it's not that learning one new like specific tool is going to then open a million doors just because they have that on their like requirements. Of course, yeah, they probably would like you to know it if they have it on their requirements, but it does. I don't think it really works that way in my opinion. Of course, though, like if you think it's a good idea, if you strongly think that it's useful and it's showing up on many different requirements, well then learn it. What's the point of not? And then you can decide for yourself, in your own in your own time, or if you're on the job, if you have a choice, which one you would want to use. You would have your own decision there. What kind of statistics knowledge is necessary to be a data scientist? Uh, you know, if you really want to get into it, the probability distributions. Um, I would probably not worry about stochastic processes too much. It's more so on the like regression machine learning side, which is you know uh, how models train well, um, basic data analysis like mean, standard deviation, that type of thing. Uh, yeah, definitely focus on regression, like linear models, advanced or generalized linear models, will help a lot. And then if you can get more advanced into the machine learning like stuff, that's where it really becomes helpful. But all of that stuff like confidence intervals that they're going to teach in basic statistics, definitely is just actually useful, and it'll help you learn all the other stuff a lot easier. Okay, you are also in your first year's but bachelor's degree in computer science. I found some niche. Why did I say nice? I was thinking of the word niche. I found some nice data science master's degrees. You're in your first year and you're worrying about master's degrees. I wouldn't worry too much yet. I like looking ahead for the future, but I don't think you're there yet. If you're in a first year bachelor's CS, do your bachelor's in CS. If you think you might want to do, um, if you think you might want to do masters, then you should be focusing on getting high grades right now in your bachelor's, rather than figuring out all the different rather than worrying about their entrance exams. You're not there yet. I don't think. I don't think you are. So just worry about grades in my opinion, but not too much. Please don't worry too much. Why is it hard to get a job as a data scientist? Well, it's because they they know a lot of things. Of course, a lot of people know a lot of things. Like a doctor, for example, you have to do so much studying, like years. And a data scientist is sort of similar for that because not actually similar to a doctor, but you know what? You have to know a lot of things like programming, statistics, linear algebra, calculus, like probability, um, actually coding. So all the computer science based stuff. Um, actually making it useful. So then that's mostly just theory, but then projects and doing things that are of interest to people, you have to have done a lot. So that's really why it is hard. But I made a video on this a while ago, or a few weeks ago, I guess, where I basically said, yeah, you do have to know a lot of different things, but if you were to learn all of those things, then you're in good shape for a position because we do need data scientists. Like people, it is in small supply currently of who is really good at these things. So that's why I always focus on saying, try to get to machine learning and deep learning as quickly as you can, because not necessarily rush it, like do it quickly, but I'm saying that should be the focus on getting to it, because that's really what we need more of is people that are good in that stuff. There's now starting to be like a little too many people just learning like pandas and simple data analysis libraries, and there are jobs for that, but we need more machine learning people. Should I self learn it and look for jobs? Because both of them would be equally hard. I'll try to. Oh, you're yeah, okay. In first year, should you self learn data science? Um, I don't know. I honestly don't know how to answer that. Sorry. Do you think that in the short run, do I think that in the short run the wages in data science would drop? In short run, like very soon, that they're going to drop? Um, no, I don't think so. Hello, how can I gain an internship in data science or an AI engineer as a freshman in the U.S.? Thank you so much. You so the easiest way to get an internship is to be in an educational program. I don't know if you're already. So you said you're a freshman in the U.S. If you're in a co-op based program, then you're much better off. Um, but that doesn't mean that if you're not in a co-op program, you can't, because lots of people get summer jobs. Um, and so definitely focus on being as applied as possible. Like I believe I got ahead of a lot of my peers in the Waterloo co-op program because I of course put a lot of effort into grades, but when I wasn't putting effort into grades, I was doing things that people cared about, and most importantly, what I cared about, like learning about neural networks and how to apply these things. A lot of people didn't know that stuff. They were only thinking about how all about the probability distributions and memorizing those things in class. And they weren't, people need those things as well. And there is, of course, many employers that want you more to care about grades more, but most of them want you to be able to do stuff. And so that would be my recommendation there. Can I work in data science as a freelancer? Of course you can. You can work in pretty much everything as a freelancer. Can I promise that people are going to be knocking down your door without an impressive social biography? Not really. Um, but, you know, you can. There's positions in it, of course. Okay. I think I am going to drop off pretty soon. So if there's any last minute questions, I'd like to answer those now, I guess. Okay. I don't think I'm seeing anything. Okay. I do hope that was helpful. If you, regardless of what platform you are, if you could just drop a quick like on it before you go, I'd really appreciate that. I really do hope I helped out, and thank you so much for stopping by. I will definitely catch you next time because yeah, I mean this is silly. Like this program I'm using is silly, and it's because I don't really want to pay for it, to be honest. Um, I'm not going to say what I'm using, but basically, uh, why does it say I've only been going for 17 minutes? I have definitely been going for longer than 17 minutes. Um, what? This makes no sense. I don't understand this program. But yeah, the chat refuses to show up in the grouped thing because I'm streaming to YouTube and LinkedIn at the same time through one program that's supposed to join them together. But their chat did not work whatsoever, and so I have on my phone LinkedIn, that whatever I'm looking at, on my YouTube on my computer, other program on my other thing. I guess I'll do that again next time. I don't know. You're very welcome. You're very welcome for the course reviews. Yeah, I think a lot of people need to do more of those. Maybe I should be doing more of those. I don't know. Okay. Yes, you're very, very welcome. Please do just drop a like before you go. I'd really appreciate that. And